Well, folks, it finally happened. Canada just got slapped so hard they had no choice but to crawl back to the table. And even the smug suits at CNN had to swallow their pride and admit it. President Trump's tariff trap worked, and it worked brilliantly. I mean, you want to talk about humiliation? Canada tried to sneak in a dirty, egregious tax to squeeze American companies. And Trump and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, they didn't just block it. They turned it into leverage that's so strong that Trudeau's people folded like cheap lawn chairs just days before the tax scam could even kick in. Oh, and guess what? CNN, the same CNN that spent years telling you Trump can't win, Trump can't negotiate, Trump can't lead, Trump doesn't know the art of the deal, was forced on air to admit that Trump's economy is roaring back stronger than anybody dared to predict. I mean, they couldn't even spin it. They tried. And then Scott Bessent exposed every piece of their cover story. So hang out with me, guys, for a second, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly how President Trump's team cornered Canada, why the media was caught flat-footed, and what Scott Bessent just revealed about secret talks and backroom threats that blew up Canada's plan and protected your wallet, not the global elites. Oh, wait until you hear how the Democrats try to spin this big, beautiful bill, this big, beautiful win as a disaster, only to get steamrolled by cold, hard numbers, guys. Record jobs. We're seeing falling unemployment, gas prices down. What are gas prices in your area? And when you let me know, please let me know what state you're in. The border tighter than it's been in years. Even Debbie Downer, Wasserman Schultz looked lost when CNN's own anchors started sounding MAGA on live TV. Guys, it was crazy. So anyway, buckle up, because this is not just a trade story. This is a humiliation story, a media confession story, and a Trump still got it story, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull it all back for you guys. You're going to want to see every detail, right down to Scott Bessent's final warning that other countries better pay attention or they will be the next ones that are forced to bend a knee. So let's go ahead and break it all down, starting with how Canada's egregious tax scheme backfired spectacularly and the tariff trap that literally caught them by the throat. So, oh, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you appreciate daily news updates like this one. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and break down with the facts. So first off, just this past weekend, Americans from coast to coast celebrated our 249th Independence Day. Fireworks were going off in the sky. President Donald J. Trump, he was lighting off economic fireworks that they never saw coming. And yes, of course, we know Biden's gone, and many people are like, thank God. Gone are the days of the weak deals and America last, right? Now we got President Trump back in the driver's seat, flanked by the real heavy hitters like Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Speaker Mike Johnson. Yeah, these guys, they didn't just talk tough. They engineered a trade strategy that's so tight that our so-called allies up north ended up getting backed into a corner that they built themselves. So now let's talk about that corner for a second, because you all know what pushed Canada's government from big talk to total embarrassment, right? That egregious digital services tax. So Justin Trudeau and his crew thought that they were slick. They tried to slap a new tax on America's biggest tech companies, retroactive. By the way, reaching back in time to bleed up to $2 billion from US-based innovation. Oh, and who did they think would really be paying for that? Everyday Americans, that's who. So Secretary Scott Bessent called it out for what it was. It's egregious, an unfair, desperate grab to cover their own budget holes by raiding American companies. The same companies driving our jobs, our research, our global edge. It's a classic move. Punish the one thing that they cannot compete with, our brains, our drive to build. And guess what, guys? This time, the old playbook did not fly. And in just a second, I'm going to break down exactly how President Trump flipped the script with a tariff trap that made Canada blink first. You do not want to miss how Scott Bessent laid that trap and made sure that other countries are now completely terrified to even attempt to pull that same stunt. Now, let's be honest. Way too many families open their bills at the dinner table and they stress out. Am I right? Like, does anyone open their bills at the dinner table and then just try to figure out what the budget for the month? Well, this is exactly why I teamed up with Chapter to help people be able to sleep better at night, knowing that they're not getting overcharged. Jamie from Texas, she left me a comment. She said, I saved $600. Chapter made it so easy. Thank you, Jamie, for letting me know. Francis Lutiro said, $65 a month back. Chapter was a blessing for our family budget. Hey, these are the kind of updates and testimonials I'm getting on a regular basis. So give our friends at Chapter a call right now. It's totally free, and see how much money you can save on your Medicare. And maybe you have maybe your parents are on Medicare. Call for them. Phone number is down below, 909-563-8279. Or in the pinned comment, you can click the link and hit them up on the website at askchapter.org/Ron. And you'll thank me later. And I look forward to hearing you, because I just love getting these, it really brightens my day. I'll just say that. All right. So let's break down exactly how President Trump's team turned this egregious tax into Canada's biggest trade embarrassment in years. So when Trudeau's crew tried to squeeze American tech for billions, Trump didn't just fire off a tweet and walk away. He actually deployed what Scott Bessent calls the three-legged stool: taxes, tariffs, and regulations. Now, and that tariff piece was the real hammer. So here's the genius move. Trump slapped Canada with a deadline. He kept the reciprocal tariffs frozen for a little while, giving Canada just enough rope to come to the table. But behind that pause is a threat that is crystal clear. Don't come correct, and those tariffs snap back. 25% on every non-USMCA good rolling in, plus a 10% bite on Canadian energy. Now, get this, guys. Scott Bessent did not mince words. He told other countries too, if you think that you could just kind of run the clock out, watch what happens when the old tariff rates roar back up. This is how you play hardball without firing a single shot. You hang the penalty over their heads, and then you watch them sweat bullets. So what happened next? Well, Canada blinked. The so-called tough guys, they folded days before that digital tax was set to hit. They didn't just pause it, they rescinded it. They wiped it off the table entirely, right along with that shady little retroactive grab for $2 billion. Because they knew, push Trump and you're going to pay. Simple as that. Now, here's a real kicker, guys. They didn't just scrap the tax. They had to crawl back to the negotiation table, hat in hand, hoping that the U.S. would even listen after Trudeau and Carney broke their G7 promise to do a deal inside 30 days. Scott Bessent and Trump shut that door tight until Canada gave up the scam. So Canada's tax squeeze, it's dead. The tariff trap, it worked. And Canada humiliated on the world stage. But you know what's even better than that? This cornered move didn't just break Canada's plan. It forced CNN to choke the words, Trump is winning. They had to choke it down, guys. So they're deep throating the phrase, Trump is winning. All right. I want to go ahead and go a little bit deeper into this, okay? I want to talk about what Scott Bessent really exposed once Canada failed, okay? Once Canada folded, Scott Bessent did not hold back. He just straight up told the American people exactly how Trudeau's government tried to slip this egregious tax through behind closed doors at the G7. They sat across from President Trump, shook hands on a 30-day window to work out a deal in good faith. Then they stabbed the handshake in the back by rolling out a tax plan that hit U.S. tech companies for billions of dollars and retroactively too. Well, Trump doesn't play that game. The second that Trudeau's retroactive grab was confirmed, Scott Bessent and President Trump didn't whine about it. They didn't negotiate nonsense. They just walked out. They flat out refused to talk until Canada backed down completely. So this is how you defend American innovation. You slam the door until they come crawling back. And Scott Bessent made it crystal clear. America is the center of global innovation. Nobody taxes it just because they can't match it, right? His words, folks, he said, no one taxes U.S. innovation because no one else has it. This is the truth. They don't build it. They just want to skim off of it. And so now here's where this gets even better. The trap didn't just humiliate Canada. It humiliated the so-called fact checkers over at CNN too. I mean, the same people who would try to spin, dodge, or bury any kind of good Trump news for years, all of a sudden, they couldn't hide from cold, hard numbers. They had to sit there and admit on live air that Trump's trade trap worked, that the leverage was real, that the tariffs turned the screws so tight that Canada cracked. I mean, and they didn't even stop there. CNN ran the numbers. Last month alone, U.S. economy added 147,000 jobs, blowing way past the 118,000 jobs that they expected. They ended up calling it the Energizer Bunny economy because it just keeps going and going, even when they hoped that it would stall. The unemployment rate down to 4.1%, even when every so-called expert said that it was going to tick up. Even their own anchor they were forced to press Debbie Wasserman Schultz right on air. So what are you complaining about when jobs are up, gas prices are down, and Trump's plan is delivering? When CNN, of all networks, mind you, starts sounding MAGA on the air, that's not just a flip. That's a complete confession. All right, so picture this, right? So CNN's forced to admit the jobs are up, unemployment's down, gas prices are dropping, border crossings are slowing, and Trump's trade team just humiliated Canada into dropping a shady billion-dollar tax. So what does the Democratic spin machine do? Well, enter Debbie Wasserman Schultz. So Debbie Downer herself, right? She marched into CNN thinking that she was going to be able to flip the script. She called Trump's plan the big ugly bill. Oh, that's creative. Whatever. So she tried to claim, brace yourself, guys, Republicans caved. Trump lied. People will die. Seriously? Like, that's her line while working families just saw jobs multiply, paychecks got bigger, and inflation is getting lower? What rock is she living under? What rock did she crawl out from under, right? So it was so tone deaf that even CNN's own anchor had to stop her whining and say, hey, look around. Gas is actually cheaper. Jobs are up. The market is up. Did you see the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the Dow Jones? Lady, what are you actually talking about? And Debbie, well, she did what she does best. Talks in circles, pretend facts don't exist, and melt down in real time. But here's the part the media really wants you to forget. All these wins are not accidents. They're a part of a plan. Trump's big, beautiful bill is the backbone. So while the old guard screamed about spending, President Trump focused on putting money back where it belongs, in your hands. So this is why this bill locks in no tax on tips, so service workers can keep every penny that they earn, no tax on overtime, because if you work extra, the IRS shouldn't steal it from you, right? Lower Social Security tax, more relief on retirees and seniors, full deductibility for U.S. made factories and equipment so American businesses reinvest here instead of reinvesting overseas. So it's not just tariffs and trade walls. It's a three-part plan: lower taxes, smarter trade deals, and cutting the regulatory chokehold. This is how you make an economy boom without throwing fake money at it. So when Canada tried to squeeze us, Trump flipped it. When CNN tried to spin it, Scott Bessent dropped the truth live. And when Debbie Downer tried to just talk it away, the numbers slapped her narrative silly. Now, all right, guys, let's go ahead and bring it home. I want to explain, just plainly, who actually won when President Trump's tariff trap crushed Canada's backdoor tax? Who really gained when CNN had to grit their teeth and admit that President Trump's plan is working? Well, you did. We did. Working Americans. The families that pull this country forward every single day are the ones cashing in. I mean, this was never about humiliating Canada just for the headlines. It was about protecting American workers, American jobs, American innovation. The same innovation Canada tried to tax because they can't build it themselves. It's kind of like, it's about lifting wages without driving up prices. It's about giving businesses the freedom to build here, hire here, and expand here. Not ship it out to line the pockets of some global elite. And it's about doing it without dumping trillions of fake money into inflation like we saw under Biden. Because while they were print money and calling it relief, Trump's team cut taxes. Like, everyone's happy about that. They went ahead and flipped these bad deals. They forced the foreign leaders, even the so-called friends like Trudeau, they're forced to play fair or pay the price. Guys, this is exactly what smart, strategic, and patriotic leadership looks like. Oh, and look, CNN can twist, they can dodge, they can cry about, but the numbers don't lie. The Energizer Bunny economy just keeps on rolling. The border's tighter, gas is cheaper, paychecks are bigger. That's not spin. This is fact. So at the end, when the camera lights go off and the talking heads move on, one truth stays. America is stronger because President Trump put Americans first. Canada scam, it's dead. CNN smug denial, broken. Bessent's inside truth, well, out for everyone to see. So keep your eyes open, guys, because this was just one battle in a much bigger fight to protect your paycheck, your freedom, and your future. Canada humiliated, CNN cornered, Trump's plan working, and America, we still winning. Anybody tired of winning yet? So if you got value out of this breakdown, do not forget to hit the like button, share it with someone who still thinks CNN tells the truth, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you do not miss what comes next. All right, guys, until then, stay smart, stay free. Y'all be safe.